All right, our last section in Chapter 9 is on solving rational equations. Rational just means they have fractions in them. So there's a couple of different kinds, and we're going to kind of take a look at them one at a time. So first, we have the first kind, which is a fraction equal to a fraction. So when we have fraction equal to fraction, we use the process called cross multiplying, which means we're going to multiply these two numbers together, and we're going to multiply these two numbers together, and they're going to be set equal to each other. So when we do that, we get 1 times 9 is 9 is equal to x times x is x squared, and we all know how to solve that because we've been doing that for weeks now. We take the square root of both sides and we get x is equal to plus or minus 3. Why do I have to have a plus or minus? Because I'm solving an equation that has a squared term in it, which means that according to the rules of algebra, I have to have two solutions, and there they are, plus and minus 3. Okay, that one's not so bad. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to do the same thing because we have a fraction equal to a fraction. So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to take those two. 5 times the quantity x minus 2 equals, we're going to do these two, 10 times the quantity x minus 7. Now we just have a math problem. This isn't so bad. This is 5x minus 10 equals 10x minus 70. All right, now I don't care how you go, whichever direction you want to move. So I'm going to move the 70. So now I have 5x plus 60 is 10x. I'm going to subtract the 5x, and I'm going to get 60 equals 5x. I'm going to divide by 5. I get a value of x equals 12. Well, let's take a look. Does that make sense? Is 12 minus 2, well, 12 minus 2 over 10 equal to 12 minus 7 over 5. 12 minus 2 over 10 is 10. 12 minus 7 is 5. Ooh, look at that. 10 over 10 is, in fact, equal to 5 over 5. Why didn't I check this one? I don't know, because I was lazy. So this one would say 1 over 3 is equal to 3 over 9. That's true. Is 1 over negative 3 equal to negative 3 over 9? Well, it sure is, so we're okay. They all check out. Okay, we just need to remember to check our answers. All right, let's take a look at another one. Okay, they just get a little more complicated. Not really anything new, but we get to factor, because if we can cancel things, we can make our life a lot easier. So let's start by factoring the bottom down here. All right, factors of 4 that have a difference of 3 must be 4 and 1. And I need the positive to be on the bigger one. So I have that. This also factors. All right. I'm going to cross multiply. So I have x plus 3 times the bottom over here, which is x plus 4x minus 4, is equal to, I take the top over there, x plus 2, x plus 4, x minus 1. Take a look at that. Make sure that sinks in a little bit here. I took what was up here times what was down here, and what was up here times what was down there. Now it's all factored out, which is nice, because now I can start to solve it. So I'm going to divide everything by x plus 4. And those go away. Now I have x plus 3 times x minus 4 is equal to x plus 2 times x minus 1. And since I can't do anything else with that, I guess I have to multiply them out. So here goes. X plus 3 times x minus 4 is x squared minus 4x plus 3x, so minus x minus 12 is equal to x squared plus 2 minus 1, so that would be plus x minus 2. Okay, I have bunches of x's going on here, so let's do some math. Let's subtract x squared. Now I have negative x minus 12 is x minus 2. Probably should add the x. So I have negative 12 is 2x minus 2. I better add the 2. So 2x is negative 10. Divide that by 2. I get x is negative 5. If x is negative 5, does that make sense? Let's find out. Negative 5 plus 3 over negative 5 squared plus 3 times negative 5 minus 4. Is that equal to negative 5 plus 2 over negative 5 squared minus 16? It's going to take a little math here. Negative 5 plus 3 is 2. All right, that would be 25 minus 15 minus 4, so 19, so 2 over 6, or 1 over 3 on the left side. If I do the same thing over here, I get negative 3 over 25 minus 16 is negative, 25 minus 16 is positive 9. Oh my goodness, that's a negative 2. Ooh, better fix that. There we go. So I get negative, oh, look at that. I get negative 1/3. I guess it works. Not so horrible. All right, that is our first type. Now, let's talk about the second type here. Just give me 1 second here to find a scrap paper. Because the second problem looks like the one here on the bottom. I didn't fix it. I didn't leave enough space for it. So we have 7 over x squared minus 5x plus 2 over x equals 3 times 2x minus 10. There we go. We'll get rid of that. Okay, I no longer have two fractions. I now have fractions being added together. So here is the best method that I have found for solving these, and that is I want to eliminate the denominator if I can. But to do that, I have to know what the common denominator is. So first I'm going to factor. So I take out an x. That's okay. I take out a 2. Okay, so my common denominator sorry, having trouble spelling this morning. All right, I write down what I have. Okay, check that off, it's there. Oops, I needed 2. So there's my common denominator. Now, why is that important to identify? Because now I'm going to multiply each fraction by that number, and that will turn out to be what we call in math, kill the fractions. So you hear somebody say kill the fractions, they're saying get rid of them. I don't like them and get them out of there. And this is the procedure we use. We find the common denominator and then we multiply everything by that. So when I do, I'm multiplying by 2x, x minus 5. I'm going to multiply this by 2x, x minus 5. Now hang on, don't get too crazy yet. I'm going to multiply this by 2x, x minus 5. All right, which allows me to come in and do some canceling. If I'm going to multiply by those, now that turns into a 1 on the bottom, and I have 2 times 7, which is 14. I do the same thing over here, get rid of this and this, so now I have plus 4 times the quantity x minus 5. Okay, because this 2 times that 2 makes my 4. And here I'm going to get rid of the 2 and the x minus 5. That's all equal to 3x. Now I just have a standard equation that I can solve. So I have 14 plus 4x minus 20 is 3x. Moving things around here. I am going to put those together. So I get 4x minus 6 is 3x. I'm going to subtract the 4x. I get negative 6 is negative x. Divide by that negative 1. I get x equals 6. Now let's check and make sure that works out okay. So that's 7 over 36 minus 30 plus 2 over 6 equals 3 over 12 minus 10. Okay, well 36 minus 6 is 6, so that's 7 over 6 plus 2 over 6. Does that equal 3 over 2? I don't know. That's 9 over 6. Does that equal 3 over 2? It sure does. So we are good. Everything checks out. So x is 6. Remember, we have to check our answers because we're working with fractions, and fractions sometimes cause a problem. So be very careful here. Let's try another one of those. Oops, get my papers back here. Yeah, I'm almost there. All right, here it is. We have this crazy mess. All right. Remember, this thing has a denominator of 1. So my common denominator is pretty easy to see right now. My common denominator, since these are alike, my common denominator is x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply every fraction. Ignore this guy up here for now. Okay, we're going to multiply everything by x minus 2. Multiply this by x minus 2, and multiply this by x minus 2. Okay, no big deal, right? Okay, we come through and we cancel. Well, x minus 2 here and there, x minus 2 here and there, but that has to get multiplied. So we do. That's x squared minus 2x plus 10 equals x squared plus 3x. Nothing on that side had to change. Well, that's kind of nice. Let's subtract the x squared. And we get negative 2x plus 10 equals 3x. I'm going to add that 2x. So I get 10 is 5x. Oh, well, silly me. That means x is 2. Okay, but I can already see there's a problem. Because what happens if I plug this 2 in? Well, then I get 0 right here. Because x minus 2, if I make x is equal to 2, it's going to be 0. See, when x is 2, the answer to the bottom is 0. So guess what? This one has no solution. Yes, we did all of our math correctly, and unfortunately, sometimes that happens, and that is where we end up. So please, please, please be very careful. Make sure you check your work, and hopefully you'll bring your questions to class, and we can take care of most of them. The assignment for this section is on page 515. It's 2 to 20, just the even numbers from 2 to 20. I know it sounds like a lot, but most of them are pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing too terribly complicated there. But please remember to watch the video and try to ask your questions when you come to class. See you then.